In this video, I give you my thoughts on the Mandalorian Episode 5, the Gunslinger, aka the Filler Slinger, IMO. Or it could be the fan service slinger. Spoilers ahead, by the way, and I have no problem with fan service. And whilst there was quite a lot in this one, whether it be with the Tusken Raiders, pod racing pit droids, Womp Rat references, callback phrases,
he's no good to me dead,
and Mos Eisley itself, I don't think it quite crossed the line of being too much, for me at least. I'm still in Mexico City, by the way. No comparison with Mos Eisley intended. Now, I said last week that I'd like to see a familiar planet and how it's operating post-Empire, and we got Tatooine with Mos Eisley, which was cool, and it seemed to be a lot less bustly, a lot less scum and villainry than how I remember it from circa A New Hope. Like it's actually been cleaned up quite a bit, and as the same type of robot from Jabba's palace said, the Bounty Hunters Guild no longer operates there. And I love the fact that the canteen is now actually staffed by droids after all those years of neglect. Finally, gentrification and rights for droids hits Mos Eisley Spaceport. But really, the story could have worked on any planet, and a bit like Episode 4, it was another of those sort of side story mission type episodes. It had what I think was the Mandalorian's first space battle, and this action sequence was cool. He was annoying, but aside from that cliffhanger at the end, you could definitely miss out this episode and be absolutely fine with the overall storyline. There's a much bigger story somewhere that I'm waiting to get to, and whilst I've enjoyed the ride there so far, I'm starting to get a little bit impatient. I mean, there's only 3 episodes left, man. At the same time, you can't say it's dragging though, because the episodes are too short to drag. But this next episode for me really has to move up 1 gear, 2 gears, maybe even 3 gears, because all of this going from mission to mission, meeting new characters, then saying bye to those same characters in that very same episode, it's going to start getting quite boring for me. And like I said last week, I don't know how this series is washing on non-Star Wars fans, potentially new fans, a new audience. I mean, is it really breaking new ground from that point of view? Because all I'm hearing about at the moment in TV land is the Watchmen series, outside of Star Wars circles. Finally, let's talk about that cliffhanger. Who was the cloaked figure? I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's Boba Fett, and that's based on the sound that we hear, the sound of the spurs, that familiar sounding spur-like sound. Maybe he hung around on Tatooine after escaping the Sarlacc. That's possible, and that would also give us a reason to have visited Tatooine in the first place for this episode, perhaps making it less of a filler episode after all. But on the other hand, perhaps the more likely, more obvious option of who this mysterious figure is Gus Fring. I mean, that would be less of a big reveal because we know he's in it, we've seen him in trailers already, but I guess maybe in some ways it makes more sense than Boba Fett. Let me know in the comments who you think it is, and also what you thought of the episode overall. For me, the weakest one so far. I feel like we've had 3 great episodes, 1 good one, and now 1 just meh, okay one. And yeah, if you like this video in the real world, then why not give it one of those cyber likes? If you're new here, I do a lot of pop culture content, a lot of Star Wars content, interviews with Star Wars actors, non-Star Wars actors. There's a lot going on, so take a look around, and maybe even consider subscribing because Lando says so.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Jamie Stangram told me to do this because he's a ridiculous human being, which I've discovered in a matter of a few minutes.